Here are 5 things you need to do to make sure you are protecting your profit and also potentially growing your profit if you are a business owner in any part of the world. Now, we are doing a lot of this with our clients as we kick off the year. And these are the 5 top tips that I'm sharing with you to write down so you can work on it for your own business. Now, this will work for you anywhere in the world. But remember that this year, when you're planning for the future of your business, the economic outlook is very different from what it was the year before or the year before that, simply because the threat of recession seems to be on every single headline. Inflation keeps popping up in the news. So if you're a business owner, I don't want you to be worried about that, because when you decide to run a business, you knew the risks that came with it. So I don't want you to worry about it. Instead, I want to give you all the tools to use these 5 tips to make sure your business is ready for the coming year. Now, the top 1 tip that we start with any business when we work with them is the cost. Now, we want to make sure that we have taken a look at all the costs that are being incurred by the business. Now, how many of those costs can be trimmed down? Can they be moved to a subscription basis? Can you talk to the service provider to see if you can move those costs to sometime over the year so that you're not caught with a big cost right in the beginning of the year when your revenue is not great? So sit with your accountant, your CFO, to make sure you know exactly the timing of these costs. Stay on top of your tax bills, stay on top of any regulatory costs, because you're not going to have any way to work around it. Instead, look at your marketing bill, look at your tech bill, look at your facilities, and see how you can use your relationship to leverage on those costs. So number 1 thing you're going to take a look at is costs. Break that down into different segments. The second thing we're going to look at is revenue. So you've fixed on your cost. Now we want to make sure the revenue is the same, if not greater, than the year before. Now, what do you do to make sure your revenue remains the same? Firstly, you want to take down a list of all the clients and see how many of those clients may have been negatively impacted by the current market conditions. For example, if you are a business in luxury and you realize that the economy or the area that you live in is going through a downturn, you realize that a lot of customers are going to think twice before spending on luxury items. So the one thing you want to do is understand which of your customers are contributing about 80% of your revenue, and how do you make sure that they continue to participate or work with you in the longer term. Now, the other thing that you can do is also do something by way of industry collaboration to continue increasing the number of customers. That means you are going to approach someone in a complementary business. So you win, the other person wins, and therefore collaboratively both of you can work on increasing your revenue together. I want to make sure you're thinking of this from a holistic perspective and a bird's eye view, rather than, oh my God, my clients are not going to come back to my business anymore. Think outside the box. Talk to your biggest customers and see how they are operating. Ask for referrals. Make sure that you have all the taps turned on so that you have business coming in through the door. Now, the third and most important aspect of going into this year is going to be your digital presence. Your digital presence and your online presence for your business is going to become extremely crucial, because more and more people are getting used to working on things remote. So if your business had even 20% of your revenue coming in through the door, straight out of the street, you have to take a look at that straight away and see how do you get more people walking in through the door. What can you do to incentivize and connect with all the other people out in the market who don't even know you exist? Now, what can you do to connect your product to different segments of the market? Now, if your revenue is predominantly coming from the age group of 30 to 40, what can you do to be more attractive to the 20 to 30-year-olds? Can your product be used by them? Would they use it in the same way? think about it from a different lens. Now, social media is going to become very, very important. The rise of social presence is going to become even more critical. So the first thing you want to do is connect with someone on a marketing expertise to get some tips on what would be the first thing, because remember, marketing is a very overwhelming concept. You have a whole wagon wheel of marketing because you've got LinkedIn, you've got Instagram, you've got emails. So all of that takes different levels of expertise to operate. Now, the thing that I would absolutely recommend you do not do is try to do marketing in all social media channels at the same time. You're just going to end up losing time, revenue, and patience because it does not work that quickly. So if you are going to use Google as your main platform, then you're going to use Google reviews, you're going to set up your Google presence, you're going to set up your search engine marketing, and you will get that right before you move into the next segment. Or focus on LinkedIn. If you have a decent LinkedIn following, and that is where your customers come from, you can absolutely focus on LinkedIn and give all the information that a potential customer wants to use on your LinkedIn profile. You can use LinkedIn as a very good channel. It's a lot of my inbound marketing comes from LinkedIn because that's a predominant area that I operate in. So that's online and digital marketing. Now, again, if you need any specific references to people, agencies, etc., send me a DM so I can connect you to the right people so you can get the right kind of advice. The fourth one is networking. Now, it is the most underrated aspect of business development. And most of the time, most people are too busy operating in the business, delivering the service, to go out and look at a bigger network. And when I say network, I want you to look at it from a bigger perspective. If you operate in one state, can you look at another state? Can you try and test the market? Can you look at another country, another geography? Can you open up your existing footprint to a much bigger area across the world, wherein you are making sure that your business is not susceptible to the economic risks in just one place? So a lot of work that I'm doing right now is helping Australian businesses set up a footprint in the UAE. The UAE gives you a stopgap or a footprint closer to Europe, and it gives you a whole new market to explore. I will do another big video on that with all the tips about doing or setting up a business in the UAE. Dubai is really one of the most preferred places in the current year for a lot of high net worth, a lot of businesses to set up shop. So we'll get into that in another video, but I'm urging you to sit and take a minute to focus on your business and network and look at it on a much larger profile. The last and very important aspect is communication. Now, communication can be various different types of communication. Firstly, when there is issues popping up in the news like inflation and shortages, etc., the first very important part of communication needs to go to your employees. Now, these are the people in your business, so you want to let them know how your business is doing. You want to also invite them to maybe participate in a bigger way. Your business can grow a lot quicker if you tend to use the inputs that are in your current business. So give people a way to contribute. Take their ideas to see if you can expand better. Ask your customers some feedback, because the biggest source of innovation will come from your customers and their issues. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, give them a solution to a problem that already exists. And it's not going to take a lot out of you to give them an additional service. But at the same time, your wallet share of your customer just grew. So you always want to think in terms of wallet share, because at the end of the day, there's only two ways to grow a business. You want to get more customers to take your service or product, or you want to take the same customer to have more products that you offer. So your revenue per customer just went up. It's really that simple when you think about it. The other thing that I want to talk about is communication with your industry partners. Now, you want to communicate to them that you're open for business, you have a new offer, you are customizing and offering something new to your industry collaborators so they can start referring business to you. And when you do things like this, which is a strategic initiative, the one top thing that you have to answer, the question that's on everybody's mind is, what is in it for me? So you don't want to just roll out an offer to someone and expect them to send customers your way without them understanding why. Why am I going to send it to you? Is there a revenue? Are you going to send me your customers? Why exactly am I going to send you business? Because remember, when the tide is going out, everybody's thinking about themselves. So you've got to come up with a way that there is a win-win-win, win for you, win for your industry network, and win for your customers. Only then you will get sustainable results from putting offers out into the market. Last but not least, I think you have to also have clear communication with your customers, because if you are charging $100 for something, everybody is going to start questioning the value of that $100. So you, at this point, should step up and communicate the value that they're getting out of the $100 that they spend with you, or give them a sweetener for staying on as a customer. Cross-sell a new service to them that might help keep them in the business longer. So these are my top strategies that we are using with businesses across the world. And each of these gets into a lot more detail when we sit with them, when we sit with the CFO and the financials. But I hope that this can help you get a quick, rough guide on how you can get started with your planning for the year. Now, remember, these are the top 5 tips to plan in a recession market to make sure your profit remains the same and goes up at the same time if possible. So I'm keen to hear what you think about it. If you want me to send you any more information, please send me a message or comment on this post for someone else who might really be benefited by this. Or if there's any specific topic that I've spoken about here that you want me to cover in further detail, do let me know. Thank you so much for watching.